Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and it's quite nice to reconnect with all of us on Facebook Live after a long hiatus. I had taken a lot of time out to write, to reflect, to ponder, and then to do some research work, and then to also rest because you knew that the seasons before this was a lot of hostilities because right after we finished the answers, we went into the post answers. Some of you may know some of the work we did around the answers panel, monitoring activities around the answers panel, and then the answers panel turned out the way they turned out in many countries, in many states rather, including in my own state, Anambra. And then from there, we began to have series of meetings, post answers. How do we mobilize young people to participate, to turn this energy from answers into actual balloting? How can we do answers by the ballot? So we began those kind of discussions, and right after we were in the discussions, we began to see things like, for instance, continuous voter registration exercise. So from voter registration exercise, we became part of the people mobilizing fellow young people to come and register, especially in Anambra State and within the southeast. So you saw that there were a lot of activities from registering to vote and all of those things. You now saw the emergence of P2B as the Labour Party presidential candidate, and a lot of young people began to gravitate towards that. And so that work led us even much more into the continuous voter registration, into mobilizing people to pick up their PVCs, and then all the work that followed. And then it was in the period of getting young people to pick up their PVCs that I began to register, see anomalies within INEC's framework. The compromises with the Beavers, with the Abbeys, with the IREV, and then the whole movement around that, moving up into that election period, all the activities before the election period. And it was also in that period that we saw some of the things that were to happen with the census. So we moved right into the elections, right? And so from the elections now, you had the elections and the disappointing outcome, which I genuinely expected because I saw all by the mercies of God, all the fault lines before the elections. At least some of the things Nigerians now know about the election devices, about INEC and the rest. Some of us saw them as far back as October 2022, and we tried to engage, record press conferences. We flew, went to cities trying to, but that's behind us. We're not going into any recognition. Then after that, you had the momentary, I think I took a week or 2 weeks break before we got onto the postponed Nigeria census. And postponed Nigeria census was a long and hard-fought battle. Many of the things that went into the postponement of the census are things we cannot discuss in the public space. And that's why, for instance, people see a lot of media activities, but the work we do is beyond media. Media is a sub-component of the work we do. The most important aspect of our work is done outside of the media. And so after the postponed Nigeria census, thankfully God granted us grace, and there was this postponement of the census. And so after the postponement of the census, I knew that having put in all this, that it was time to take a break. So I took a long break from, I think, between May and until somewhere around September, October. I did very limited things within the year. But then from September, October, November, things started, growing up. So this is just to apologize that we've not been having a regular Facebook Live, a regular Twitter Live, and all of this. It's just wanted to give you the background. But then when I stopped broadcasting, I didn't stop working. We continued to double down on some of the thematic areas we've been working on, and a lot of those things. So